Hi everyone, welcome back to Nuskrit. So let's solve today's daily LeetCode challenge, which is count subarrays where max element appears at least k times. Let's try to read the problem statement and then we will understand it with an example. So we are given an integer array nums and a positive integer k. Return the number of subarrays where the maximum element of nums appears at least k times in that subarray. A subarray is a contiguous sequence of elements with an array. Like we have already read this definition multiple times, right? Let's take an example and try to understand what the problem statement is asking us to do. So here I have taken a array, right? So what I have to do is basically assume that k is given 2 for this particular array, right? Assume that k is given 2 for this particular array. So what I have to do is, first of all, look at the maximum element, so which is 5. So 5 is the maximum element in this particular array. Now what we have to do is we need to calculate the subarray count. Like how many different subarrays are there where the element 5 is appearing at least 2 times, right? At least 2 times. Say for example, can this be the subarray which I am looking for? No. Can this be the subarray which I am looking for? No. Can this be the subarray which I am looking for? Yes. Because in this particular subarray, the 5 is repeating at least 2 times. Okay, great. Now, can this be my answer? Yes, this is one of my answers. Can this be my answer? Yes, this is also one of the answer because 5 is repeating at least 2 times. Okay, so the difference in this particular problem, so definitely first of all let me tell it to you, right? This question will be solved using sliding window, right? If you haven't got this, then still you are not very clear with the concept of sliding window. I would recommend that you go and try to read and learn about sliding window. But yes, if you have guessed it right, so this definitely will be solved using sliding window. The second thing that I'm going to tell you is, in a general practice, what we do is we try to maintain a window of number of elements in the subarray, right? Like in any question of the sliding window, what we do is we try to maintain number of elements, like how many number of elements are there in one particular window. But in this particular question, what we will do is we will try to keep the count of 5 in our window, right? So maybe the first 5 can be over here, the first 5 can be over here, and the third 5 can be over here, right? So we will try to keep 5 in our window, and as soon as this is fulfilled, we will try to shrink our window, right? Like we will try to remove this 5 out of the window. That is something which we are gonna do, right? Great. So let's try to start, and we will try to follow our same sliding window approach that we do in every question. So here we will be having start, here we will be having end. Let's try to declare some of the variables. So for one variable, I will be taking subarray count, which is initially set to 0. Another variable, I will be taking count, like how many number of 5 I have in my current window. So let's take it 0 initially. So let me take it over here, right? So max is nothing, but max is the 5. Like you can iterate over this array and you can calculate that particular value, right? So I think this is it what we want to have, right? So now let's move forward. So my current element E is 1, right? So I will simply move forward, okay? Because at least I need to cover 3 5s, right? Because K is given as 3. Just don't forget, I am assuming K as 3. Great. Let's move forward. So current element is 5. So let's make count 1. Now move forward. Current element is not 5. So let's move forward. It's 5. So count will be 2. Let's move forward. 2. Then move forward. So now current element has become. So as soon as you cover 3 different elements in your window, right? So what I need to do is I will calculate the total number of subarrays that I can form from here, right? So you can see that at least this 5 and this 5 should be present in my all subarrays, whatever I will be calculating till this point. Like I'm really not looking at these elements. So far I have covered these elements only. So out of all these elements which are to the left of this line, right? How many different number of subarrays I can form? So one subarray I can form is 1, 2, 5, 4, 5, 2, 5, right? One subarray can be 2, 5, 4, 5, 2, 5, and another subarray can be 5, 4, 5, 2, 5, right? So these are the 3 subarrays. Can I say that until this S reaches over here, like, or I can say like, let's make this S move pointed over here, and whatever value will be of S, those number of subarrays will be there, right? Because you can see that 3 minus 0 will be like 3 will be the, if my start variable is at 3, so I can say that 3 subarrays will be there, right? I hope you are getting. Let's not get confused. It's simple. It is nothing but you just make your S pointed to the very first 5 somehow, right? Either you can do 2 minus 0 plus 1, or what you can do is you make one more element move forward to this S, and then you can basically add this 3 directly, right? So what I will do, let's go back. What I will do, so now as soon as I cover, or you can say like as soon as my count becomes 3, right? Because K is 3, right? As soon as my count becomes 3, which means that I have covered 3 5s in my current subarray, right? So now what I need to do is I need to calculate the total number of subarrays that I can form from here, right? So what I will do, I will simply make my S, like take my S and make it move forward until I get 5, right? So is current element 5? Is current element 5? No. Move forward. Is current element 5? No. Move forward. Is current element 5? Yes. So what I will do, I will make this count decremented by 2, and once again I will increment my S finally, right? And now at this point in time your count has become 2. So what I will do, let me just write it over here. What would I have done over here, right? Or you can say like, how would I code this? So what I'm trying to do over here is I am saying that, okay, while your count is equals to K, right? So while our count is equals to K, what I'm doing is I am just checking if nums of start is equals to my max element. So if that's the case, just decrement your count, and every time start is happening plus equal to 1, right? Start is basically incrementing. So here I have taken S. So let me write S over here. So S will be plus equal to 1, right? And as soon as your count is decremented, so when this while loop will run once again, so your count is no more K value, right? It's K minus 1, okay, because we have decremented it by 1. So at this point in time you will stop, and what you will do, whatever S value is there, you will add this subarray count to your, like add this particular start to your subarray count, which is 3. And you can see that this is one subarray, like this is one subarray, this is another subarray, and this is the third subarray which we have calculated. So this is why the count is coming out to be 3 over here. Great. Now as soon as you are done with this step, what I will do, I will make my end incremented to the next element. So let's take this end, let's move forward, and now you have added another element in your subarray. Now just think about it. Once again I am gonna add this particular S in my subarray count, which will make it 6 as total number of elements. Why? Let's try to understand this. See guys, earlier what you had is you had this one subarray, then you had this one subarray, and then you had this as one more subarray. Now you are adding one more element to this your current window. So what will happen? Eventually what will happen? This subarray would become one subarray, then this would be another subarray, and then this would be another subarray, right? So just because of this one, whatever start was there, or you can say like whatever number of subarrays you have found earlier, those number of subarrays will be added to this particular subarray count once again, just because of this one, right? And I hope you are getting this point, like why it has become 6 directly. Just because of this one will be added to all of the subarrays which we have previously calculated, right? So this will be incremented, or like you can say this will be added once again. Great. So whatever S value is there, I will add directly to it, right? Now let's move forward. Let me just remove this code part, because now you know what we are doing exactly. Now let's move forward. So once again, now you are getting this E once again. So let's move forward, and now you are at 5. So first make your count once again 3, and now because your count has become 3, that means we need to shrink our window somehow. So we will try to shrink our window until we remove one 5 from it, right? Because now you can see you have 3 different subarrays. Sorry, you have 3 different elements which are 5. So what I will do, I will take this S, will make this move out of the window, but the current element is not 5. So this will be incremented. Now you have got another 5. So what you will do, you will decrement it once again, and you will increment this start by 1. And now you can see that your count is no more K, right? Because that while loop was running until your count was exactly 3. Now as soon as you stop over here, what you will do, you will once again calculate the total number of subarrays, right? So what will happen now? We have got another 5 in this array, right? So one subarray would be this, another subarray would be this, the third subarray would be this, and another subarray would be this, and another subarray would be this, right? Now you cannot form subarray you cannot form this subarray, because in this particular window you have only 2 5s, right? So how many different number of subarrays are there, like that we have got? So whatever value of start is there, those many number of subarrays we have got. So what's the value of start? It's 5, and you can see that 1 2 3 4 5, we are getting 5 subarrays. So this value will eventually become 11, right? Great. And now what we'll do, we will once again try to like shrink our window. Okay, so what will happen? Okay, we have already shrink our window, so now we will move forward. So this end will move forward now, and we are getting another 5. So let's increment this. So this will become 3. And now once again we need to make sure that we try to shrink our window, right? Because we need to make sure that start and end, start should also start at 5 and end should also end at 5, right? So we will make sure that, okay, make your S move forward until you get S out of your window. So is this 5? No. Is this 5? Yes. If yes, so decrement your count by 1 because you are now moving this 5 out of the window and your S will be incremented. Great. Now once again, how many different subarrays you can form from here, right? So let's try to look at that. So this would be one subarray, right? This would be another subarray. This would be another subarray. Then this would be another subarray. And then this would be another subarray. And this would be another subarray. And this would be another subarray. And this would be another subarray, right? So you cannot make this particular subarray because in this you will be having 2 5s. So what you can do is you will be having 7 different subarrays. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So whatever value of S is there, you will add to it. So it will become 18 once again. Great. Now let's remove this and now once again make your end move forward. So now you are having end at this point. So this is 1. So now just try to think about this. Whatever 7 different subarrays you have got in the previous step, you are adding another element. So this one element would be part of all subarrays, right? All 7 subarrays. So you will basically add your S value, right? So this would become 18 plus 7, 25. Now let's move this. Let's make this E move forward. Once again, you are getting an element which is not 5. So this 2 will also be added in all of the subarrays which you have got previously, which were 7 in numbers. So you are adding 7 once again. So this will become 32. Now let's move forward. So now once again you are at the element which is not 5, which means that you will add this 3 to all of the subarrays that you have got previously, which was 7 in number, right? So this 32 will become 39. Great. And now once again you move forward and now you have got 5. As soon as you have got 5, this count will again become 3. And because this count is 3, now you need to shrink our window, right? So what you will do, you will basically make this S move forward until you make S out of the window. So this will move forward, this will move forward, and now once again your count will become 2 because this 5 have moved out of the window. And now once again, you will basically calculate the total number of subarrays that you can get from here, right? So you can see that this is one subarray, this is another subarray, 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6, then 7, right? And then 8, and then 9. Like you cannot take this subarray because in this subarray, you have only 2 5s. So there will be total 9 subarrays. So whatever value of S is there, you can simply add this to your answer. So you will add 9 this time. So 39 plus 9 will actually become 48, right? And now what you will do, you will basically move forward. So once again, you are getting E. 2. So this 2 will be the part of all 9 subarrays that you have found earlier, right? So what will happen? You will once again add 9. So this will become 57. And now once again, you will move forward. So as soon as you move forward, you are now out of the bound, right? You don't have any element now to process. So what will happen eventually? This is the total subarrays that we have got, which is 57. So I hope you have got this. So let's try to code this because this is very easy. So I will take some of the variables, which is start. Initially, it's pointing to 0. Right, and I will take long subarray count because we have to return long. This is initially 0, and I will take one more element which is count. It is 0 initially, and now let's run a loop. So int end is equals to 0, end is less than nums dot length. This is very easy, right? And plus plus. Now what will happen? I will simply take the current element, which is nothing but nums of end. I can simply say, okay, if my current element is equals to max element, which we haven't calculated yet. We will calculate it, don't worry. So I can say that, okay, count plus equal to 1. Let's do that as well. So for each num in my nums array, what I will do, I will say, okay, max element would be nothing but math.max of num comma max element, right? So we will have to take one max element as well. So we can take max element is equals to 0 because our number of each of the element is starting from 1, right? So we have calculated the max element, and now as soon as this is done, so I need to make sure that if my count is equals to k, right, which means it's a valid window. So make sure that you shrink it, right? You make your S move forward. So what will happen? I will say, okay, if my start value is equals to max element, like the element which we are trying to make move out of the window, is it the maximum element? If yes, so I will decrement my count, and every time start plus will be incrementing, and as soon as this while loop is ended, I will simply say subarray count. You just need to add start over here, right? And this is it. So let's come out of this loop, and now we can actually return subarray count. So let's try to run this. Hopefully this should be submitted. So where are we failing? Okay, so this is basically nums of start, because we need to compare the element, right? So now let's try to run this once again, and this accepted. Let's try to submit this. So this got submitted. So the time and space complexity for this problem is big of n is the time, and we are really not taking any extra space, so the space will be big of 1. So I hope you have understood the problem statement clearly. So this is it from my side for this video. I will see you in the next video. Till then, bye bye.